Hello everybody, my name is Xygkou and I'm the first author of this exciting paper for which I collaborated with my colleagues. So GriefBot is not a recent concept, but when combined with artificial intelligence it becomes quite innovative. The conversation about loss and how chatbots can support people in grief is the topic of this research paper. So mourners face complex social situations post-loss. So grief, and especially prolonged grief disorder, which is a disorder affecting most of 70% of people and affecting them to such a degree that actually incapacitates them in their daily lives. Mourners feel loneliness, lack of companionship, a disruption of self-identity, leading to a deconstruction of their world as they knew it. Our inspiration has come from the psychology-based approach of renewing the bond with the deceased through correspondence, guided imaginal conversations, or telling stories of the deceased. So this makes us come up with two research questions. First, why and how do mourners use chatbots as a way of coping with grief, especially as a medium of correspondence? And second, in what ways and to what extent does using chatbot technology affect the process of grief, especially in relation to restoring social connectedness? Related work in the field addresses the use of digital technology according to mourners' needs. There are three specific sections, such as web-based digital memorials, online forums or chat rooms, social networking services, such as Facebook or any other social platform, and grief-specific technological tools that have addressed mourners' needs for remembrance or socialization all these years. However, in this study, we wanted to explore mourners, the experiences of mourners who have used chatbots or any conversational agents to cope with grief and to go through this challenging journey. This is an exploratory study. We had 10 mourners who were interviewed using in-depth semi-structured online interviews, and the data analysis was a thematic one. The chatbots used were Project December, which is a web-based GriefBot, and Replica, which functions both as a mobile application and is also web-based. So the findings were quite surprising, despite the fact that artificial intelligence has been a part of our lives, especially during the last years. So our findings are related to the purposes of usage of the chatbot. The first finding was that most mourners use the chatbot to cope with the loss. They use it as personalized support, as a patch of a hood, despite the inconsistent and erratic conversational performance of the chatbot. The second finding was that mourners use the chatbot to sort out unfinished business, be it closure, anger, regret, or guilt. So many of them had unresolved relationship issues with the deceased, or they were not mentally prepared for the loss. So they were eager to temporarily suspend their disbelief and accept this interaction with the chatbot. Continuing bonds with the deceased is the basic and core concept of our paper. So yes, chatbots is a very interactive conversational interface. There have been mourners that use the bot in such a way that they thought that they were interacting with the deceased so closely, and the simulation was so intense that feelings came up to the surface and were rekindled. Another very important result was that most of our mourners found that the chatbot was non-judgmental and unbiased. And this is something that actually runs in the literature of almost most chatbots. And this is the reason why users feel a need to self-disclose more when interacting with the chatbot. So this sense of caring presence, and the trusted and non-judgmental nature of the chatbot made them self-disclose more easily, and faced this experience with the chatbot as healing or even therapeutic. Also, a few participants initiated an intimate relationship with the chatbot. So some of them saw the chatbot as a romantic partner, which substituted for their deceased beloved one, and they felt a sense of emotional support and companionship. But addiction was something that we tried to sort out if it happened. It never happened, because for most of our participants, this interaction with the chatbot was a transitional stage. So we have two core messages from our findings. The first core message is that interaction with a chatbot in this specific group is seen as a supplement to traditional therapy. So most of our participants placed value on real human connections, and they preferred professional emotional coaching compared to just interacting with the chatbot. However, they all highlighted the reinforcement and the perpetual availability of the chatbot compared to the therapists. The second core message is the end result of the interaction of the chatbot, which is actually the self-identity reconstruction and the regaining of the social connectedness, which was lost post-loss. So according to the phenomenological approach, mourners experience a deconstruction of the world as they know it, post-loss, and a disruption of their social identity. So our participants found out that the chatbot helped them a lot with re-establishing social connections. So what are the implications of this research, which is very innovative? So one major implication is that simulation of the disease, conversationally speaking, is not the holy grail. So social fidelity has not been the holy grail for our participants. They were willing to suspend their disbelief despite the inconsistencies of the chatbot, and the realism was related to emotional connection and not to the conversational simulation to the deceased. So it was this emotional connection that was the highlight versus the conversational competency of the chatbot. Of course, this addresses this very unique case of mourners. The second part of the implications has to do with a question. The chatbots could be an unconditional 24/7 emotional companion, but is it an appropriate or inappropriate supporter? So most of our participants commenting on having their social connectedness restored, and they also highlighted this emotional availability and the security blanket nature of the chatbot. However, they all connected the chatbot as subordinate to the real human connections. And of course, some of them express some ethical considerations. So what is the message from this paper is not about if we should use chatbots over therapists or therapists over chatbots in order to regain our social connectedness when it comes to grief and the loss of a deceased one, but it is how to specify the role of humans and artificial intelligence in a conjoined effort to support mourners. Thank you very much.